Welcome back, Culers. Barcelona's pre-season tour has taken a dramatic twist. From Eric Garcia's injury setback in Seoul, to the breakout of 19-year-old Rooney Bargi, and even more youth stars like Lovro Chelfi and Bernat making headlines, there's a lot to unpack. But it's not just the kids making noise. Veteran defender Ronald Arojo could be on his way out, and whispers of his potential transfer are growing louder by the day. With Laporta desperate to avoid another Figo-style betrayal and Hansi Flick building his new defensive order, the tension is real. In today's video we're breaking down Eric Garcia's injury concern, Bargi's incredible rise on and off the pitch, the latest on Robin van Persie's missed Barcelona dream, a new talent Lovro Chelfi's arrival, and Marc Bernal's emotional comeback, and Araujo's shocking potential exit before the summer ends. Stay tuned. This summer at Barca is already wild and we're just getting started. A member of the defensive ranks at La Liga champions Barcelona was forced to sit out training on Tuesday. That's according to Blaugrana insider Victor Navarro, who points towards Eric Garcia as the player in question. Stopper Garcia for his part featured from the off over the weekend, as Barcelona kicked the club's pre-season schedule into gear in a friendly meeting with Vissel Kobe. En route to an eventual 3-1 triumph, however, the Spanish international is understood to have picked up a fitness problem. As per a report from journalist Victor Navarro, during the hydration break in the first half against Vissel Kobe, Barcelona treated his left leg. And the same concern, evidently, is still bothering Eric on Tuesday. This comes with the former Manchester City man having played no part in group activities in training this morning, following Barca's arrival in the city of Seoul in South Korea. A lot of care and attention to detail went into how Barcelona operated in this summer transfer window. For the Catalan club, it was essential to only pursue the signings of players who were considered extremely necessary. However, there is one anomaly in that regard for Barcelona. The signing of 19-year-old Swedish winger Rooney Bargi was a bit of a surprise for Barcelona, not because of his talent, but because he wasn't an original target. Instead, he was snapped up as a golden opportunity the club simply couldn't pass on. And so far it looks like they made the right call. Bargi has quickly caught the eye of new coach Hansi Flick, earning a spot in the squad for Barca's pre-season tour in Asia. He made an immediate impact during the friendly against Vissel Kobe, scoring a fantastic goal in what felt like a dream debut. But Bargi's influence hasn't stopped at his on-pitch performance. According to Sport, he's also making waves inside the locker room. His positive mindset, willingness to learn, and great sense of humor have helped him quickly become a favorite among teammates. Physically, he's already in top shape, but it's his ability to connect and build strong bonds with others that's setting him apart as a promising figure in Barca's future. Special connections at Barcelona. For now, it is true that Bargi still has a language barrier in terms of communicating with his teammates who primarily speak Spanish. As such, he is often hanging around and speaking with the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Wojciech Szczesny, Frenkie de Jong, and Jules Koundé as they all speak English and it is easier to communicate with him. Another player who seems to have taken a liking to Bargi is none other than Marc Casado. The Spaniard already seems to be welcoming him with open arms, and he has reportedly been a guiding figure for him so far. Few clubs in history share the kind of prestige and legendary status that FC Barcelona has. Beyond just the club's collective success and legacy, many icons of the game have played for the Catalan giants. Across the decades, Barcelona has truly become a home for real icons of football. Even today, legendary players like Robert Lewandowski continue to play for La Blaugrana. This kind of ability to attract legends is something that Barcelona is very fortunate to have, and it has led many elite players to the club over the years, especially forwards. Despite Barcelona's ongoing financial issues, the club still holds strong appeal for top talent around the world. The recent arrival of Marcus Rashford this summer is a perfect example, proving that even in difficult times, Barca remains one of the most desirable destinations in football. Adding to that sentiment, Dutch legend Robin van Persie recently shared a personal revelation that highlights just how magnetic the club's pull really is. Now the head coach at Feyenoord, Van Persie admitted in an interview with Sport that he had always dreamed of playing for FC Barcelona. It was a goal he deeply hoped would come true during his career, a reflection of just how highly regarded the club is, even among football's biggest names. I always had the desire to play for Barca one day. I truly hoped it might somehow come true. It was a real dream for me. However, despite being close to joining the club in 2015, the deal ultimately fell apart and his dream of joining La Blaugrana ended up remaining just that and nothing more. After half a year at Fenerbahce, there was talk of it at the time and I had high hopes. It would have been incredible. My agent told me there were conversations that the option was real, but then he called and said, it's not going to happen. Things might have turned out differently. Even his agent chimed in and provided some insight, suggesting that a different outcome might have been considered if Van Persie was still signed to the likes of Manchester United at the time. In fact, Van Persie's rise to the top had a lot to do with his time at Arsenal and Manchester United, as well as his feats for the Dutch national team. If he had stayed a little longer at United instead of going to Fenerbahce, he would have been a serious option because he'd be arriving straight from United. But coming from Fenerbahce, it's a different story. Barcelona had doubts about his physical fitness. That chapter between Van Persie and Barcelona is now closed. Nothing can be done to rewrite it. What matters now is the club's present and future. And that future looks bright, especially with the focus on nurturing young talent. One such talent is Lovro Chelfi, the promising Croatian midfielder who has just been officially signed from NK Kostasija. Barcelona reportedly beat out competition from several top clubs to secure his signature. The teenager is highly rated and will now join the youth setup, hoping to make his mark during the 2025-26 season. It's another clear sign that the Catalans are investing wisely in the next generation of stars. Chelfi will now link up with Juvenil A and will hope he can impress during the 2025-26 season with the Catalan Giants. It's been reported previously that Barcelona are paying around €500,000 for 50% of Chelfi's rights and will have an option to purchase the rest in the future. The total deal could reach around €2 million but will obviously depend on how he progresses during his time in Catalonia. Welcome to Barcelona, Lovro Chelfi. A member of the midfield ranks at La Liga champions Barcelona is inching towards an imminent return to competitive duties. That's according to Diario Sport, who point towards Marc Bernal as the player in question. Midfielder Bernal is for his part fresh off a return to group training, following almost a year on the sidelines. After exploding onto the first-team stage early last season, the youngster suffered a devastating ACL injury, ruling him out for the remainder of the term. Prior to Barcelona's friendly clash with Vissel Kobe this past weekend, Bernal was spotted warming up intensely, a positive sign when it comes to his progression. And though the 18-year-old is not expected to play his part in either of the remaining two fixtures on the Blaugrana's pre-season tour of Asia, his return to the pitch may not be far off. As per a report from Sport, if no last-minute complications arise, Marc could reappear in the Gamper. The annual Joan Gamper Trophy match is set to be played out next month, with Hansi Flick's troops primed to play host to Serie A side Como. A headline member of the defensive ranks at La Liga giants Barcelona could ask the club to sanction his departure before the summer is out. That's according to La Vanguardia, who point towards Ronald Arojo as the player in question. Arojo is for his part fresh off an altogether difficult campaign in Catalonia's capital in 2024-25. After spending the opening half of the term sidelined through injury, the 26-year-old then struggled badly in efforts to rediscover his best form. Such woes have seen him drop down the defensive pecking order in Hansi Flick's squad, now behind first-choice pairing Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez. And as alluded to above, if the latest word stemming from the Spanish media is anything to go by, this situation could yet see Arojo ask out over the weeks ahead. As per a report from La Vanguardia, if the 26-year-old is left feeling like he is not a priority in the eyes of Flick and his staff, he has not ruled out requesting a transfer. Not only that, but Barcelona, keen to offload at least one central defender this summer, would be open to negotiating a sale. And that's it for today's massive Barcelona update. From injury scares to breakout stars, emotional comebacks to potential departures, this pre-season is shaping up to define the future of the club. Rooney Bargi is already winning hearts, Lovro Chelfi looks like a gem, and Marc Bernal's return could be the feel-good story of the year. But Arojo's situation? It's one we'll be watching very closely. If Laporta makes the wrong move here, we could be looking at another Figo-style heartbreak. Let us know in the comments. Should Barca sell Arojo? And do you think Bargi has what it takes to start this season? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more breaking Barca news, transfer updates, and exclusive preseason coverage.